Back here on the Seth Williams Show, and welcoming our guest Eric Horton to the show.
Hey guys,
Hey, how you
What's up,
doing, my
man?
man?
good.
From the band Seventrain, who you just heard, good stuff. I didn't mean to, make fun of California, my brother.
I hear it
San
all the
Diego,
time. Don't worry about it.
San Diego, where you guys are from, I'm sure is fantastic. It's a nice area. The weather is beautiful, but you move a little bit north, and we're all fucked. I mean, it's just the way.
Thank God for Camp Pendleton, right?
That's right. Nice. Well, Eric. Obviously, man, Seventrain is I've been aware of the band for a little while now, probably since like 19 or so. So, and I was a fan of Cage, so I'm aware of you especially because I certainly. Anybody that's ever interviewed Sean Peck remembers Sean Peck. So,
Yeah. Did you get a word in edgewise?
I'll tell you, man. This is a funny, quick story. On my other show that I do, we've had Sean on a bunch of times for Death Dealer and for Cage and whatnot. Big fans.
Yeah.
And Sean has a habit of referencing himself in the third person. Like he does it a lot. So we did a whole interview with him one time where every time I said my name, I would say, well, when Chris Aiken wants to know what Sean Peck is doing, Chris Aiken calls, and I did the whole, and he just didn't pick up on it. And then we told him at the end of the interview that we were fucking with him and he just laughed,
Yeah. No, he's the Ricky Henderson of heavy metal singers.
Oh.
I met Sean. I think we formed a band in '90 or '91 called Nomad.
Okay.
Which actually has some songs that are on, I believe, their Darker Than Black or
Okay.
Old Destroyer album.
Sure.
Really good band, even to this day. I mean, we'll hang out and go see Padre games, and he'll bring up, like, man, that band could have really did something. And I go, yeah, well, life is what it is.
Right.
I talk to Sean all the time. Yeah, he and I go way back, and we're friends even beyond music.
Sure. He's a good guy.
Yeah, we ruffle each other's feathers because I'm an ex-Charger fan,
Okay.
and he still follows that team. So I just like, come on, loyal to the soil here.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good, man. Well, dude, obviously, man, we could talk about your old bands all day long, but let's talk about your current band, which is the reason you're here. I love this band, man. I love that it's different. It's different than when people see your name with Cage, they're going to associate it to something that is not this, which is good. I mean, this is definitely, to me, Seventrain is something that really should be getting played next to today's active rock music. I mean, it's just great active rock, powerful, well written,
Thank you.
not pussified. It's really strong. So why don't we start there, man? Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about Seventrain, how you got together and how you got to today?
Well, shortly after when I left Cage, I joined a band called Seventrain.
Okay.
And so I kind of inherited this band, and as bands progress, people fall out, and I was like, I'm the last man standing. I'm like the Steve Harris of Seventrain, and when I left Cage, the reason I left was, I mean, I am metal through and through.
Sure.
But they started to do the rapid, 16, 30-second note blast beats. I'm an old school metal guy. I love like melody and harmony. I mean, the reason I started playing guitar was Pete Townsend. I wanted to be, in the Who. And so I wanted to be a little more melodic. And so we just kind of, parted ways. And so I focus on that when I write songs. Is what's the message? I'm not real big on lyrics. The melody is really important. Sonically, the music have to take you on some sort of journey. Build up tension, release that tension in the chorus. Make a statement. All that stuff like that. And it took me a while to actually get to this core group of guys, which we are all on the same page, which is musically, which is really good. We all have our roots in the old Judas Maiden early metal arena, right?
Sure.
But we all love the new contemporary stuff that seems a little more melodic and song oriented, I guess. Like Greg, the bass player, is a massive Seven Dust fan.
Okay.
Right? It's the singer Eric. He loves like Alice in Chains. we are all Badland fans, from when Jake Ely left Ozzy.
Yes.
We kind of have that rootsy metal song-oriented stuff, which we just write for what we like, right?
Sure.
So we assume if we like it, other people might like it, hopefully.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe.
So the pandemic, you guys have had a run with, band members kind of moving in and out. That pandemic kind of probably screwed you guys a little bit from like a big, push forward. I mean, how do you guys keep pushing forward with everything?
So we did Back on Track. So we did the first album with the first singer, John Campos, that did pretty good for a new band, and we were getting a lot of exposure. And then we finished Back on Track with the current singer, Eric Coons. And that got done, I think, within 4 or 5 months of COVID just killing everything.
Right.
And then it caused some frustrations within the band because it stopped a lot of stuff. And we lost our drummer, Joel. And so I kind of had to regroup at that point. The bass player, Dino, left as well, personal life stuff for him. And then I always knew Greg was around. He's a San Diego guy, very, very talented. We got our new guitar player, Dave, who's just phenomenal. And Dave and I work really well together. We both are that two guitar. We grew up in that era. So it was very natural for us to share harmonies and dual solos and stuff like that, which oddly, I don't see that much anymore. It's usually got one great guitar player, like the guy in Avenged Sevenfold, and a rhythm player,
Right.
And so we decided that, hey, forget it. This is what we love to do. So we hunkered down in my rehearsal room for about a month. It took us about a month to 6 weeks to write all that music, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Eric came in and wrote the lyrics. And it's just between COVID and gigging and everything else, it's taken longer than we wanted to finish these songs, which is why we put out the EP. Okay. So there's an album's worth of material. It's actually on that whiteboard right there. So that's why we're hoping to have either another EP or a full album out by the end of the year.
Yeah. All right. First, I want to apologize about your Padres. I mean, it's been kind of with the payroll, the size
what
of
was
the
that?
Hey, I just
how frustrating is that?
Happened to be watching Sports Center last night and see that the payroll is not exactly turning out the way that it should at this point.
Look, but let me chime in here just for a second while we're talking about. I switched when the Indians became the Guardians. I switched to the Padres, so it was before they started spending all the money. So it wasn't like I saw big money spending and I just jumped on board, And I'll be honest, the only reason I switched because my brother lives in San Diego. So I thought, well, if I'm ever out there, maybe I can catch a game. It'll be my team. I'm watching them here. They suck this year.
Man, could you imagine being that owner, writing those checks or the wires going out, and you're watching that shit? I'd be out of my mind.
All right, back to the music.
All right.
Back to the music. So I was a rock DJ for 10, 12 years, and I loved it. I loved the scene. I thought it was cool. And for me, things have changed a lot in rock radio. I don't know what it's like out in California, but for here, it's just shit now. Yeah. And so is online, is like doing stuff, is the Spotify stuff, is the online, is internet the way to go now with music? I mean, what do you think?
If you've got, if you're a legacy band or you have someone in the band that's done something very popular, because I'm a firm believer these algorithms kind of work against any new artists out there.
Yeah.
And so I think I think the music business is dying. I don't think music is dying. And I've had these conversations with guys in the band. I'm like, it's old school, man. We got to get out there and play, which is kind of one of the reasons we formed this side project called Headbangers Brawl. We do a tribute to Headbangers Ball. We do, Ozzy and Judas and, Don't Tell Me You Love Me by Night Ranger and all these cool old songs and stuff like that. And people really gravitate to the live performances. And we throw in about a half a dozen Seventrain songs in there. And it's actually helped us move CDs and shirts. They think because, oh my God, they can play, I don't know, pick a song, a Queensryche song, right? That all of a sudden we're as good as Queensryche because we can connect the dots as a cover. They appreciate the original. So it's been a kind of a cool thing for us.
Sure. One of the things that I see right now, and I'm assuming it has to give a guy like you hope, is a band like Dirty Honey. that does not have a record company behind it, that really just has smart management, the best booking agent I can think of, because they get unbelievable tours, but they've done it without a record company. When you see that, do you see that as maybe that the music world itself is opening up to open this different avenue that you can kind of work your way through?
I think so. I think every band should look at the whole 80s dream of, getting signed and limousines and coke and hookers. That's all gone, thank God, right? But I think every band that does what we're trying to do needs to look at their band as a business. And how do you market your business? So your product is your songs, right? Your musical presentation, your performance.
Sure.
And you have to put in. I can't tell you how many bands I see. The members in the band, they'll go, well, I don't want to put $200 into that, or I don't want to put $500 into that. What am I going to get out of it? Well, you're building a business, right? But then they'll go out that night and spend $200 in beer and dinner,
Right.
And so it's like life. It's you get out what you put in, So I honestly think that's why a lot of bands just don't do anything. And so like this group of guys, we're all pretty, I dedicated to the music,
Sure.
So we like, getting out there and marketing it, and we're very serious. And it's kind of funny, I go around life. I'm in my early 50s. I'm 52, and people will go, "Oh, you're in a band? That's cute." Like, okay, well, why don't you come on down and see us play? And
Sure.
we just played a Music Box in San Diego in Little Italy. Okay. And there was probably like 600 people there. And we come out and we're like, fuck you. We kick ass. Right. And after that, they're like, oh, I didn't know you played like that. I'm like, yeah, what do you think I'm doing? Louie at a beach bar?
That's funny.
So it's once you get people's attention, things become different. But I mean, back to what I was saying is I think these bands, you got to get out, you have to perform, you have to be good. I've seen venues that play live music stop playing live music because the bands are bad.
Sure.
And the venues that play good live music, people love going there. Remember, I don't know if you guys played, but I remember before I played, it was like magic watching these guys play. Like, how do they do that? It's awesome.
Right. And the other thing too, that I think where the industry has totally failed, and I'll put the blame, and I always do, on the head of the heritage bands. They don't bring out the young talent anymore. They don't try to keep the scene alive. The only way they'll bring a Seventrain out is if you throw them $50,000 or $100,000 to buy onto the tour, and so they are failing. Metallica. I'm going. I'll admit I bought a ticket. I'm going. Yeah. But who are they taking out? Pantera doesn't need the love. Wolfgang Van Halen doesn't need the love. Five Finger Death Punch doesn't need the love. They need to take out some other bands that, and expose it and keep the scene alive. And they don't do it. And the same could be said about these festival owners, the Danny Wimmers of the world, who are not, they'll let Plush or The Warning or somebody go out and play those shows if they pay $10,000 to go out and play at 2:00 in the afternoon for 20 minutes. And, it just seems like the industry has eaten itself alive now. And, fans don't understand that part.
I couldn't agree more. And I think the other problem is that these bands have the money probably shouldn't be on that stage, right? And so I think the promoters know that there's that market there, and so they work that in against the costs to do the business. I mean, the whiskey, we got offered to play the whiskey, and I'm like, oh, okay. Last time I played the whiskey was with Sean and Cage. Okay. We played with Exodus, so I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll go play the whiskey.
Sure.
$900, half-hour set. I'm like, what?
Jeez.
$900 for a half-hour set? No, I could take $900 and do a lot more for my band than play a half-hour at the whiskey. I don't give a shit who the fuck played there 50 years ago.
Exactly.
I'm not doing that. So it kind of goes back to what I was saying. It's the business part. Here locally, there's some great bands in San Diego. San Diego doesn't have a very good music scene, but there's some great bands, some talented people here, all different genres, and they don't play here because the money's not here. But every fucking garage band will go play a bar for $400, and that's who they're going to hire. You know, so you're right. It's definitely eating itself. Why do these bands not take other bands on the road? I don't know. You know, I know the last band Maiden took out the kid was Steve Harris's son.
Yeah. Well, and before that, he took out Steve Harris's daughter, Lauren Harris.
Yeah, I don't know. When you figure it out, you let me know. I have no idea. Yeah.
See, I'm kind of hoping that the good old limousines, hookers, and coke goes to like the podcasting scene now.
Right.
Like,
that's what I'm going to start doing.
But I'm piggybacking off of what Chris said. I mean, that's the way it is around like Cleveland area. We're talking, we had some great clubs, like really great concert clubs that they weren't huge venues, but they had up and coming big bands. Mm-hmm. And now there's none of that stuff anymore. I mean, do you guys tour? Are you guys doing any kind of touring around any parts of the West Coast or maybe coming East Coast, or what are your touring plans?
So we're gonna have to do the old school Doug Morris strategy of you do your regional, and as you pick up your regional, you kind of keep expanding, and then you kind of grow out. It's so frustrating because when Back on Track came out, we got an offer to play a pretty cool place in Florida, and I'm a huge Sabotage fan, so that for some reason that appealed to me. And then we could have played Connecticut, and then we could have played Illinois, and then I think like Georgia, Colorado. It's like, but they're only paying like $500 a night. Then we could make some merch and things like that. But financially, it never made any sense for us to go out and do that.
Right.
I could have floated the boat, but you know, you'd be tens of thousands of dollars into something. Am I willing to do it? You know, it just didn't make financial sense. You know, so I'd rather stay here in Southern California, you know, Vegas, Phoenix, and do that. Even Reno, you know, you know. So it is what it is. Plus, with the internet, we're getting such a good response online, and like today we got like 100 views. I don't even know where these people see us, you know, and so that's kind of how we're working it right now.
Right on.
I've been watching the videos all day, to be honest with you. I like
there's the 100.
You're my 100.
I might have been 99. I might be 99 and 100 because I keep looking up a couple of them. Save My Soul, one of my favorite songs I looked up today. I love the video because of the Vegas thing.
Yes.
So, do you guys play a lot of Vegas stuff, or you?
We are looking into getting into Vegas right now. So we're booked up through August, and hopefully maybe November, October we can start heading up that way. It would be fun. In my life I've had great experiences with Vegas. I'll go there and it'd be like a crazy show, and then the next show I'll go out there. There's like the bartender and a couple people. So I can't figure out Vegas as well, but I mean it's a lot of fun. But you know, like I said before, we do it because we really, really everyone. And this is the first time, and I'm not shitting you. It's the first time I've been in a band where all 5 guys are creative. When we write a song, it's like we're passing a joint around the room, right? It's like I'll come in with a skeletal idea, and then Dave the guitar player, oh, I know you're going with that, and then the bass player pick up something, then the drum will just, and it kind of comes around, and I think that's why you kind of hear a hodgepodge of influences, because if it was just up to me, everything would sound like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. If it's just up to Craig, everything would sound like Seven Dust. If it was up to Dave, everything would sound like George Lynch. You know, so it's nice. It's a nice group of guys.
How long does it take you to do a song? I mean, I've always looked at music and gone, how the hell do these people come up with the guitar solo, the drum solos, and all the different shit that goes into writing a song? It must take like 3 weeks to write a song. How long does it take to write a song?
It depends on the song. And so this is when you kind of get into the weeds and hippie-ish. I'm a firm believer. I have a shit tons of songs up here, right? And it's how you unearth it. Save My Soul, bam, came out in a heartbeat. I had a meeting up in LA. I drove up there, just listened to the instrumentation recorded. Chorus on the way back, verse coming down Oceanside by Camp Pendleton. Lyrics. By the time I got home, song done. So far, I sat on that motherfucker for 4 years.
Wow.
4 years. It was like mental constipation. And when I got it done, it was just like, oh my God, thank God that's out. But yeah, I mean, not to get too ethereal and weird about it, but I think you follow your heart where the song's taking you, you know. Sure. That is the beauty of, that's why I do it, is that experience. It's awesome. Yeah.
Do you guys generally, when you write, do you more or less stay in your lane? Like, do you stay in the guitar lane, and singer writes lyrics, or does everybody provide whatever they think?
So the reason I laugh is everyone does stay in their lane,
Okay.
besides Greg, our bass player.
Okay.
Greg's like the drunk driver at 1:30 in the morning, having an opinion on everyone's parts, amps, tunings,
Right.
picks, strings, you know. But he's good. I mean, you have to listen to him, and you know, like, okay, I get it. We call him Spock because he gets so. That's why he mixed the whole album, because we just had to get out of his way, right? Because he's just in there, just like the mad scientist doing this stuff. But yeah, no, we do. I mean, Dave and I are very respectful to each other when it comes to the guitars, and Eric, the singer, is very opinionated on his vocals, but he takes. We're all beat up, so we all take constructive criticism pretty good. You know?
Right. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, how did you guys end up? You said you have a whole album's worth of songs. How did you pick these 4 to do? Were they just the first 4 that you recorded, or is that what it was? First 4 you recorded?
Like, okay, how many? What's the ones that are closest to being done? Okay, we'll just do those 2.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm not Axl Rose with this master plan. You know, it's path of least resistance. I'm like water. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
How long till we can expect the entire album?
Our goal is to have it out in October. And actually, they're tracking vocals and stuff right now. Dave and I got some solos. All the drums, bass parts are done. And then we put it together, and then we kind of get a rough mix, and then we'll do the color guitar things, little stuff you're probably not audibly hearing, but it adds to the song. And you know, all the stuff you think recording should be, you know, is always at the end. People they're delusional. It's a long, hard, arduous process, you know, and thank God Greg does have a phenomenal ear for pitch and time. And so he kind of will sit there, and I'll get an email back from him saying, "Nah, you can do better," you know. So I'll go in. And so, yeah, it's very rewarding at the end of the day. Like my personal favorite on this 4-song EP is So Far, you know. That's the one that I was sitting on for years. And I love the Maideness intro. I like the build up. I like to me, it's a very Van Halen-y swing verse. And, you know, it's got all these different components, and the melody line is really good. I don't really like love my own music all that much, but every now and again, there'll be a song I'll go, oh yeah, that's something I can stand behind.
Right. It's interesting that you're naming all those bands, because honestly, when I listen to the EP, and honestly, when I listen to Back on Track as well, I hear much more of like some more modern bands. I hear like Sons of Texas or Texas Hippie Coalition or bands like, I mean, not exactly like that. I mean, it's not raw, you know, that type of a voice, but it is the melodic crunch guitar thing that those 2 bands and other bands like them do.
So that's probably our blues influence, rock blues influence. Like I brought up Badlands before.
Sure.
I love the Pride and Glory that Zach did.
Same.
I love BLS. So you are hearing a lot of pentatonic rock riffs going on there. Yeah, which would give you that vibe. Yeah. And I'm a big fan of what Mark Tremonti does with Alter Bridge.
Sure.
I think him and Miles Kennedy. I mean, I think that's some like really, really good stuff. I know was it? What was that band that Clint Lowry did between the stints with Seven Dust with those guys?
It was like Connected or something. Oh,
no,
Dark New Day. Okay.
Just you listen to that and you're just like, how fucking good can this be? You know?
Right.
And so it's that Southern vibe rock thing, you know, which is a lot of fun.
It's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
So,
I appreciate the compliments, though. I mean, it's nice to hear that. You know, that's something that makes me feel good.
Right on.
What do you have? What's going on in the background? I see, like, is it like a
It's like a mirror.
I was gonna say it's a mirror. That's what it is. I thought it looked like bizarre back. I thought there was something. I was sitting in a chair back there, like a child that hasn't moved in like an hour.
That's for my homoerotic YouTube channel. I lather up and I put the candles on in here. And
I was your 200th view on that one today. So, gotta pull it up right here.
Nice.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. That's where I, my piano, and I got some acoustics, and I had a guy actually just let me drop all my guitars over. Just built me this thing. Some guy was this makes me feel weird now. He comes up to me at the gym. He's like, I made you something. I swear to fucking God. And he built this beautiful guitar for me.
Wow.
I'm like, all right, whatever.
That's awesome. Though.
Yeah. Just
now
like
you're obligated to use it, right? Now you have to use it.
I
He'll
know.
be at every show. Where's my guitar?
I know this guy is huge. He looks like that. Remember that orange hairy monster, that Warner Brothers commercial with what was it, Bugs Bunny? He just comes running down.
Oh
the
yeah.
Yeah. So this guy pretty much. I mean, I was afraid to say no. That's why I took the guitar.
Nice.
Awesome. I think I just got a notification from ESPN that the Padres lost again. Sorry. No, I'm kidding. I'm just joking. I appreciate you coming on tonight, man. I really do.
I'm happy to be here. By the way, fucker, the Padres are so frustrating. I mean, I go to games with Sean, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, why? What the hell? And so the Chargers left because I'm a big football guy. I coach high school football. Chargers left. I'm like all fired up for the Padres, and it's just like, what? What is this?
Yeah, it's and being a fan myself and like a converted fan, that first all I had to hear last year was front runner. You just picked that I picked the hot team, which I really didn't. I really did not even look. I just kind of chose, like I said, because my brother's out there. But now second year and they suck. Every stupid Cleveland fan is killing me over this. And it's like, God.
Well, welcome to San Diego professional sports. I was a Charger fan for so many years, and they would just like right at the last minute shit the bed. And I blame it all on Spanos, the owner. He's the worst professional sports owner in the history of the world.
Right.
And then the Padres. No, I tell you, as you could even ask Sean, you knew when all that was happening, you're like, they're gonna fuck this up somehow, just somehow, some way,
Dude, you can claim Spanos. We're in Cleveland, my friend. So let's not get carried away with worse.
Who's your owner there?
For the Guardians,
for the Browns.
Well, for the Browns is Jimmy Haslam.
Yeah.
Jimmy Haslam, who's been indicted and investigated by, on fraud charges.
Yeah. Well, they got Snyder out, so your guy's next, and it's probably a blessing.
Yeah, well, that would be good.
I mean, look, I'd rather have no football team than a football team that has a guy that likes to get rubbed out before the games by masseuses every day. So, I mean,
what was wrong with that?
Well, that's what I say.
Look, on my own, it's fine. I'm saying, not on the 50-yard line, though. I need a guy to play football.
That's right. You guys in the quarterback.
Yeah,
that's right.
What the fuck were he thinking?
I don't know.
They just needed to make a big splash somehow, and they just went with the biggest splash they could make.
They just made a couple of big splashes.
In a septic tank. I mean, oh my God. He is good, though.
He might be good. He's also sat out for 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, how good can you? I mean, maybe he'll be able to come back, but.
So are you a Lakers fan, too?
So I was a Laker. Yes. I mean, I love the Lakers. Magic Johnson, Kobe, Robert Horry, Shaq. That whole era was phenomenal. I cannot stand LeBron James.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look at that.
I actually was the biggest Denver Nuggets fan because I don't give. You don't. Okay, so now we're going to get in basketball weeds. So you don't play in this era where it's just 3-pointers, right? And there's no defense. Yeah. And you're the scoring champion of all time, and then you say you're the greatest?
Yeah.
No way. Did you know what Dennis Rodman? He would have made LeBron his bitch.
Oh my God!
He
would have killed.
Yeah, come on. Yeah,
Dennis Rodman. All those guys in the 80s and 90s would have just pummeled him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every time he came in the middle, they would have just put a clothesline out and taken him out.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, let me think of a player that used to take his whole team on his shoulders and win championships. Oh, Michael Jordan.
That's right.
That's the greatest, right?
Yeah.
This LeBron James, I mean, come on, you got to give it to him. He's just a huge specimen of a person. He is phenomenally talented, but I can think of at least 6 players that would have smoked his ass all day.
Yeah. All the greats.
He's the one guy that I did not want to bring a championship to Cleveland. So to me, that one doesn't even count.
Same here.
So they can have him out there in California. Keep acting. His son could play out there. Keep him away from here.
Remember the decision?
Yeah.
Remember guys in Cleveland?
Yeah.
How insulting was that?
Yeah.
Remember it. There were fires of his jerseys here.
Yes, there were.
It's like taking 3 chicks home and it's like, hey, honey, which one is going to be my next wife? How insulting was that? Just, how self-important is this guy in his own mind?
Where can people find your music, my man?
You can find our music at seventrain.net. And you can buy, we got like 20 shirts. We've got all kinds of swag. Facebook, which is Seventrain on Facebook. There's Seventrain Band on Instagram. We're all over Spotify, Apple Music, all the normal streaming channels and stuff like that. Yeah.
Awesome. And you watch the videos on YouTube. Believe me, that's where I was today. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this interview. All my other interviews, we get way into nerdy guitar topics about amps and pedals and cables. Yeah.
We're dorks.
Well, I'm gonna be pulling for the Padres. I'm just saying that because both of you guys, I guess, are fans.
That's right.
And so I'm not gonna say go Yankees or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay, 98 World Series. I'll always. Oh, that was a strike call, and I'll always hate the Yankees every single time.
So true.
There was something on ESPN, and my wife's like, "What are you yelling at?" They were doing a background on that World Series.
Right.
She goes, "Wasn't that like 25 years ago?" I'm like, "Shut up."
It's hilarious.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. We will check out the music.
Me.
Seventrain.net is correct.
Yes.
Seventrain.net, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere streaming. I appreciate it, man. We'll check in with you and check out that music. So thank you, man.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, Eric. Take care.
Have a good one, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Seventrain, rocking, kicking ass. Appreciate it. We'll be back in just a minute.
Sweeter than honey.